walk. Now, you have to do the best deal in relationship to what is best for the club. And that means a lot of things. That's not just a money thing. That's also a relative, as far as assuming risk type of thing. And there is risk involved with Le'Veon Bell. And what doesn't help the Steelers' mindset in this kind of situation, especially when you're talking about a $14.5 million franchise number, 14.4 for running backs, okay, which just is far and away on an average per year basis from number 2, Devontae Freeman, as far as what he makes on an average per year basis. When you have those kind of disparities, and then you have guys like Alvin Kamara coming into the league and Kareem Hunt coming into the league, it's going to cause GMs to pause and go, wait a minute here. We should just franchise him. We should see what we can work out from a long-term deal perspective and whether or not it fits into what we'd like to do contract structure-wise and whether it fits into what our long-term plan is. And if it doesn't work out that way, then let's just see if someone else is going to swoop in here and try and offer us a deal that we can't refuse. But you don't let him just walk. You don't let him just walk. He's one of the best dual threats in the National Football League at the running back position. So I think this is a no-brainer. It's not really even a discussion of whether or not you franchise him. It's just whether or not he's going to wind up playing 2018 in the Steelers uniform.
Stephen A.
Well, listen, here's my belief, Louis Riddick. You don't just, of course, you franchise tag him, but it's not just to make sure you don't let him walk without compensation. You don't lose him, period. This is a guy that not only rushed for over 1,200 yards, 1,291 to be exact, averaging 4 yards a carry. This is not just a guy that's reliable when he's on the field. This is a guy that you felt the need to, even with Antonio Brown in your lineup, Juju Smith-Schuster in your lineup, Martavis Bryant in your lineup. The list goes on and on. You still gave Le'Veon Bell 321 carries. You still threw the ball to him 85 times. For those who struggle with math, that is 406 times that this man touched the football. And he's 26 years old, having just turned 26 in February. You give this man his damn money. Now, Louis Riddick, you are knowledgeable about this a hell of a lot more than me. So I'll ask a simple, albeit possibly rhetorical question. You're trying to tell me in the National Football League there isn't a way to ensure and insulate yourself from bad behavior? For example, if you're suspended due to drug use, it might cost you some dollars. If something along those lines, from a behavioral standpoint, you can't insulate yourself from that. I believe they can. So with that being the reality, you could sit up there and say, here's the money that you want. Here's what your market value mandates. We're going to give you that money. Now, you get suspended. We're going to take some of it back. But barring that, in terms of any football player out there, this man deserves his money. Give him his money, especially when the last time you saw him, the Steelers dropped 42 on the number 2 defense in the entire NFL in the Jacksonville Jaguars in an AFC divisional playoff game. It wasn't their offense's fault that they lost that damn game, giving up 45 to Blake Bortles, or really 38 because the strip sack and fumble for a touchdown by Ben Roethlisberger. You gave up 38 points to Blake Bortles. There's nothing to say.
Yeah, there's no question. There's no question that when the Steelers need it the most, when they get in trouble, Stephen A., that's who they go to. When they want to hit the control-alt-delete on their football team, who do they start with? They start with 26.
Oh, by the way, before Max speak, Louis, before Max speak, Max, just so you know, I interviewed Le'Veon Bell during the Super Bowl week when I was in Minnesota. His exact words to me were, of course, it ain't all about, he was going to say it's not all about the money, but then he said, of course, we want to get paid, et cetera, et cetera. He said, but the other thing that's important is that, excuse me, I want to set the market too. I don't want to sit there and be the reason that teams have an excuse to lowball dudes that follow me when they produce what I produced. And that's a big deal as well.
Look, there's no doubt. Look, I understand Le'Veon's argument. He is one of the best dual threat running backs that this game has seen in a long, long time. There's no question about that. But I'm saying from a team side, this is what's going to happen, though. Yeah. Teams are going to look at Kareem Hunt. Teams are going to look at Alvin Kamara. And, look, negotiations take on some funny turns sometimes, Stephen A. Teams can love you during the season, and they will feed you the football like they fed it to Le'Veon over and over and over again. And he's the guy who can, level out all the problems. But what happens is, when negotiations come around, the story changes a little
Max?
bit.
Got it.
The issue here is that the NFL is set up to steal money from Le'Veon Bell. That's the system is set up to take running backs' money. You don't have the freedom to test the market and to have market forces in the NFL, which, by the way, are capped by salary caps and all kinds of things anyway. It's not really a free market to begin with. But you can't even have that limited market demonstrate your value. You can't profit really from that until your career is just about over. And by that I mean your best years as a running back will already have been juiced by an arbitrarily set and low number. And then you're paid, as we all know in the NFL, not for what you have already done or even for what you're about to do. It's for what you can do over an extended period of time going into the future. Because your bonus, the guaranteed money, is prorated over years. The more good years they think you can have, the bigger your bonus will be. And so Le'Veon Bell is sitting here right now in the middle of his prime, but how many more prime years does he have left? 3? Something like that? Saying, time out. You ain't going to franchise me again. And then when I come out of that franchise tag, what am I going to have? 2 years of earning? Then the team will rightly say, well, we're not going to guarantee him this big fat contract when most running backs are done by 28, 29, 30 years old, and he's already 27. So, of course, Le'Veon Bell needs to use whatever leverage he has, including threatening a holdout, whatever it is, to try to get, he's never going to capture all his value or even most of it, but to try to get closer to his actual value than the value for which he'll be paid, which is an arbitrarily set kind of low number by the league. Running backs get the short end of the stick, boy, when it comes to contracts, and Le'Veon Bell is the best among them and is getting kind of jobbed the worst as a result.
Yep. Over the last 4 seasons, no player has more yards from scrimmage than him, and he's just 26 years old. Lewis, appreciate your insight as always. We'll check you out on NFL Live a little bit later. Talk to you soon. Coming up next, Lamar Jackson had the 6th most rushing yards of all players in the FBS last season. So does that prove that he's better off not playing quarterback in the NFL? We discuss his potential next.
I don't know this Mexican, but I don't know you right now.
I get it. He's famous, literally. What have you done with Stephen A. Smith?
Your boys can't come over your house.
I'd like to lick the tears.